Hi, my name is Quentin, and I am going to tell you about our project. We are the Supreme Construction Company, and we were tasked with designing a building for the construction management major. Our construction team is comprised of myself, Brandon Cox, Jordan Pastorella, and Kaden Pham. Our advisor was Carlos Trevino. So beginning with the location, the site for the building is across the street from the current science and technology building. It is located trisect by Oregon Avenue, Vermont Avenue, and Christopher Drive. Our building is comprised of 2 floors. On the first floor, we have the parking lot, we have the main lab, our lobby, a classroom, and in the back, a multidisciplinary building that will provide both the construction management majors and other majors an area to work together. On the second floor, you have again the lab. You have the offices. You have more classrooms. You have meeting rooms, and you have a lobby. And you have a lobby. Also, there will be a area that you can go outside on and sit and talk. Also, right here will be windows where people can stand on the second floor and look down on the lab below and watch the students as they work. Here are some pictures that were drawn, that were made and modeled in Revit, and these are examples of how our building might look. These are more pictures that were drawn up in Revit of our. I'm sorry, these were not drawn up in Revit, but these are pictures of how we would like our lab to look. And what is not shown, there will be a crane up on the top that can be used by the students. And here there will be more machines and stations where students can experiment with new testing materials and other methods of construction. Now Brendan will talk about the goals and objectives.
All right, so some of our goals and objectives for this project were to build the shell. We have heavy and light material structures, also the interior finishes of the drywall and acoustical ceilings being installed. The foundations for a new construction management building, including the parking lot, slabs and elevated slabs, as well as the footings. And we wanted to build cost effectively and safely while staying inside the budget and on schedule. The project stakeholders for this project were the owners, Lamar University, the beneficiaries being the administrative, working staff, students of Lamar University. The contractor was us, Supreme Construction, and the local government would be the city of Beaumont. Now for the outline, I'm going to go over to Jordan to get more in depth.
The schedule overview, we're planning to start May 3rd of next year. We originally planned to start May 15th of this year, but due to the coronavirus pandemic, we decided to push back construction another year. Our end date should be February 8th, 2022, taking about almost a whole year to finish the project to completion. Our first set of milestones, we got the building permit issued so we can start the work, and finish that milestone, we had the BGE Energy inspection. Second milestone will be using occupancy certification, meaning the teachers and students can start using the facility. And finish milestone will be final clean when we finish cleaning up and we move out completely. We're assuming no rainouts or holidays during construction. Here we got the work breakdown structure. And here are the scheduled activities along with the durations and time it's going to take to complete each one. Starting at getting the contracts and documents under control. Next, we got from your site work to your heavy and light steel framing. Then our first subcontractor is going to handle the HVAC, plumbing, electrical, and other stuff outside of our scope. And then we're going to worry about the roofing, the exterior finish. Our second contractor come in and get the insulation, drywall, and other interior finishes that aren't in our scope completed. And then lastly, we'll come back with drop ceiling, floor finish, carpet, and tile, all the way down to when we finally clean up and move in. Everyone can move in. For the estimating, we're going to go back to Quinton.
So, my scope of estimating my scope of estimating was the beginning construction of the building. So I covered the surveying, the clearing of the land, the excavating for the foundation, and the pouring of the concrete for the foundation. When talking about the methodology for coming up with these prices, to begin, surveying can usually be covered with just a flat rate. And how a lot of surveying companies go is they go by the acre, and since our plot isn't more than 1 acre, we had to take a fraction of it. So 1/5 of an acre, it came out to be $350. And then for the other pre-construction costs, the miscellaneous costs, I charged us for $650. And then when talking about the earthwork, when land clearing costs $400, that is another example of a flat rate, because I found a subcontractor who would be able to do that for us. And then when talking about excavation, that is both twofold. Both we had to take into account the cost of the machines that people need and both the labor needed. So that's how I came up with 135. And then hauling dirt is the same thing. And then our mentor told me that, or told us that when talking about pouring concrete and finding the cost that you would need for filling concrete for a foundation, he provided us with these numbers, and they all come together when I put these into a heavy bid estimate. And you can see here, it takes into account the labor rates and the man hours and how much it would cost for said labor. Here you can see both the flat rate fee for the surveying plus the labor, and that's the same thing for the pre-construction. Now moving on to clearing grub, that was another example of something small and easy, something that doesn't need a lot of man hours or lot of machinery. However, for grading and excavation, that's when you need the more man hours, the more labor, and the more machine costs. And you can see that right here, where we take into account both the laborers and the machines that we would need, and I subcontracted the work for the hauling of the dirt. And then for the pouring of the concrete and the pouring of the asphalt, one thing that's different about these is that we had to take into account the materials that we would need, and when taking into account the price of concrete, it goes up to almost $180,000, and then the asphalt that you would need, it goes up to be almost 100. Well, it goes up to be a little bit over 37,000. And so when talking about estimating, it's important to make sure that you take into account both the labor and the materials. Now, Brandon will talk about the structure estimate.
Alrighty, for the structure for our column A's, we had 32 concrete columns, and for our column B's, we had 7 concrete columns, totaling of 39 columns. For the total beams, we had 94 beams. We took the total pricing, put a 10% fee on that, and that equaled to about $610,000 for labor and materials. How we got to this estimated total was we priced for 11 foot of 836 steel I-beams. Each column is 30 feet above ground and 2 feet below. There's 38 columns totaling $123,000 for all columns. The average steelworker hourly pay is $30 an hour. The crew size of 6 men at 10-hour days. 1 crane and 1 crane operator for $6,000 per day. Crew works for a total of 20 days. 94 beams totaling 2,084 linear feet at $83 per linear foot, totaling $172,000. The bolted connections totaling in about 6,200 in material, and the crew will take 13 days to complete scope and 1 day for each setup and tear down. For this, I'm going to go over to Caden.
This is the estimate for the acoustical ceilings. It's an interior finish, a drop ceiling it's also called. We subbed this out to a company and they got us back with the pricing for it. The breakdown is here within materials and labor. The labor is going to be 12 days with a 3-man crew. There's a lead tech and 2 labor techs. The material breakdown of we decided to use 2x2 panels instead of a 2x4, which in trying to be more efficient and use better products, a 2x4 ceiling tile tends to degrade a whole lot faster than a 2x2 ceiling tile, just because it soaks up more moisture and doesn't do well because of the full surface area. It decides to sag. Going on to the next estimate was the light framing for the interior. This is also broke down. We subbed it out to the same company to do the interior finish. It's 7 days for labor using the same type of techs. The materials used was track stud screws and bracing strips, and the total came out to $23,320. This is for the first floor. The drywall floor division 9, it is also subbed out to the same company using the same method. Instead we use 4 labor techs and 1 lead tech. The total coming out to $23,590 for the first floor and $30,118 for the second floor. The second floor is due to more pricing because of the more walls due to all the offices and meeting rooms and such. These are the actual heavy bid items for the flooring. This is a bid item for the first floor studding, bid item for the second floor studding, the drywall for the first floor, second floor drywalling, and then acoustical ceiling. I'll now turn it over to Brendan.
On this, we also have the column framing, which is bid item 120. And we also have the rebar reinforcement, bid item 130. And then we also have the concrete pour, which was totaling above $28,000. Now go ahead and turn it over to Jordan.
For the exterior finish, we bid out 150. We got we went with brick cladding panels. It's a little bit cheaper, a little bit easier to install than traditional brick. The brick panels alone total almost $200,000. We got here. We got some exterior furniture, which is just some little finishing touches, some benches and tables for the students to sit at when they're doing their homework. And some interior finish. We got interior furniture, desk, tables. I went with tables that are like the ones in the SciTech building with the built-in plugs for charging abilities, and also some extra couches and stuff for students to sit around between classes. For the conclusion, I'm going to turn it over to Brent.
For the conclusion, we have the quality control of the organizational chart, project pictures, summary, and the lessons we have learned during the. For our project control organizational chart, we have the project manager being Kate and Pham at the top, quality manager Brendan Cox, superintendent Jordan, inspection and testing agencies would be under me and the quality manager, and under superintendent Jordan, we had Quentin and the subcontractors. Here are some renders inside Rivet. We have, this is going to be the back patio. This is the online learning classroom. We also have a render of the second floor lobby as well as the front entrance. In summary, the design, schedule, and estimate construction on a new building was very informative and fun to do. We used an industry standard computer programs such as Revit, Heavy Bid, Paper P6, and Navisworks. The project started May 3rd, 2021, and the duration of the project is going to be 202 days. The total job scope cost for us was a little over $1 million. We put a 15% fee on top of that, and we got to about $1.2 million. We wanted excellent quality and safe work every step of the way. Some of the lessons we learned during this project were effective teamwork and communication. We went from being in a classroom to being only online, and so how we communicated changed greatly halfway through this project, creating problem solving and critical thinking in order to solve these issues that we faced. We also had to handle stress and pressure as working students. A lot of us were essential, so we went from working 20-hour weeks to all of a sudden working 40-plus hour weeks on top of still staying on top of our schoolwork. And we also had to work through this corona pandemic, which greatly affected all of us. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. We usually do this in person, but feel free to email us and we will get back to you when possible.